In this video, we are going to study fundamental theorem of arithmetic. We have already done this one, probably in 4th standard, 5th standard, we have already done this one. But we'll study formally and we'll try to learn the applications of this fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic states very simple thing. Any composite number, you take any composite number, that can be written as product of primes. We have already done this one. We do prime factorization. You take any number, you do prime factorization, you get product of prime factors. So essentially that is what is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So you take any composite number, that can be written as product of primes. And this product of primes is always unique. For example, you take, let's say, 30. So 30, if I have to write it as product of primes, you go on prime factorizing this one. So 2 15s are, 5 3s are, 3 1s are. So that's all. So 30 can be written as 2 into 5 into 3. So this is unique. I mean, there is 1 2, there is 1 5, there is 1 3. So this will not change. You can change the order of writing, but this set of numbers is always unique. It's same for the given number. Correct? Let's take another example. Let's say 45. So if I take 45, so it is 5 9s are 45, 3 3s are 9, 3 1s are 3. So 45 can now be written as 5 into 3 into 3. So it is essentially 5 into 3 square. Correct? So what did we do here? We wrote a composite number in terms of product of prime numbers. You are always supposed to write in the product of prime numbers. Let's take another example. Let's say 36. So if I take 36, so what do I get? So let's divide by 3. 3 1s are, 12s are, 2 6s are, 2 3s are, 3 1s are. So 36 can be written as, there are 3 into 3 and 2 into 2. So I'll directly write it as 3 square into 2 square. Alright. Let's take one more example. Let's take a little bigger example this time. Let's take 64. Okay. So let's go on simplifying this one. 2 32s are, 2 16s are, 2 8s are, 2 4s are, 2 2s are, 2 1s are. So all the prime factors here involved are 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 2's. So I can write it as 2 power 6. So few important notes that we understand here. The first important note that we understand here is that if the prime factors of any composite number, if it does not contain 5, the unit digit or the last digit of the composite number will never be 5. Or in other terms, if there is a 5 in prime factors, you multiply some numbers and then you multiply by 5, definitely the unit place of the prime number will be 5. Let's take this example. So here there is a 5, prime factor there is a 5. So when there is a 5 and some set of other numbers, then what will happen? Some set of other numbers apart from 2. I will tell you why apart from 2. If there are few set of prime numbers apart from 2 and ending with 5 or some multiplied by 5, the unit place of the number will definitely be 5. This is the commonly asked question. Will the composite number end with 5? Okay, for example, if I take, say, 6 raised to n. So if I take 6 raised to n, which means I'm multiplying 6 n number of times. We will solve this one problem very quickly. So 6 raised to n, if I take 6, I'm multiplying n number of times. So when you take prime factors of 6, prime factor of 6 does not contain 5. So which means you multiply 6 how much ever number of times, it will never end with 5. That's what it says. Correct? So if the prime factors contain 5 and not 2, I will tell you why not 2. If it contains 5 and not 2, then definitely unit place is going to be 5. Alright. Now why should it not be 2? Now what happens if along with 5 there is 2 as well? Then what will happen? Along with 5 there is a 2, then 5 into 2 becomes 10. So essentially you are multiplying the entire set of numbers by 10. So if you are multiplying set of numbers by 10, then the unit place will now become 0 because you are multiplying it by a 10. Correct? So take this example. So 3, the prime factors of this one, we have 5 and 2. So there is a 10 here. Because there is a 10 here, the unit place will definitely be ending with 0. Alright. Let's let's solve few simple question based on this one. Okay, let's take one simple question. As I said, is 6 raised to n ending with 0? Is it ending with 0? That is the question, which means I am multiplying 6 n number of times. Will it ever end with 0 is the question. We'll try to answer this one. So what did we know? So in order for it to end with 0, we want one of the prime factors to be 1, 5 and 1, 2. These two must definitely be there. So if 5 and 2, at least 1, 5 and at least 1, 2 are definitely there, then it will definitely end with 0. So let's take prime factors of 6. So 6, when I take 3 2s are, 2 1s are. So it is essentially 3 into 2. So this 6 raised to n now can now be written as 3 into 2 whole power n. So here you are multiplying 3 into 2 n number of times. So 2 is there, correct? So if I have to expand this one, I'll write it like this: 3 into 2 into 3 into 2, so on. So like this we write n times. Yes, we have 2, but we'll never get a 5 anywhere. Since we are never getting 5, but 2 is there, it does not matter. For it to end with 0, we want at least 1 5 and at least 1 2, but that is missing here. Since 5 is missing, this is the reason that we write. Since prime factors do not contain 5, 6 raised to n does not end with 0. Alright, if it would contain a 5 and a 2, then it would definitely end with 0. Alright, let's take another example. 12 raised to n. 12 raised to n, my question is, will it end with 0 or 5? When will it end with 5? The prime factors should contain 5 and not 2. Okay, if the prime factors contain 5 and not 2, and then definitely this will end with 5 in the unit place. If it contains both 5 and 2, it will end with 0. Correct? So let's see the prime factors of 12. So 2 6s are, 2 3s are, 3 1s are. So 12 is essentially 2 square into 3. So 12 power n will be 2 square into 3 whole power n. Does not matter. So this does not contain 5. So definitely it will not end with 5. It has 2, but it still does not have 5. So therefore it definitely will not end with 0. So therefore 12 raised to n will not end with 0 or 5. Very simple application of fundamental theorem of arithmetic.